couple of years ago, I wanted to read some of the classics to get back into reading, which I hadn't really done since I was a kid. I used to love reading, and then all of a sudden I just stopped. I wonder what happened to ruin my attention span. Either way, I knew that Project Gutenberg has all the classics up on their website for free, so I figured, why not? The best way to read them is probably to buy a dedicated e-reader. So, that is what I did. Here is one I bought from a charity shop for about £10. It's far from perfect, it's 12 years old, the battery is degrading so it only lasts a couple of days even on standby, which is rubbish for e-readers. It has a micro USB port, which is ew, and has a measly 2 gigabytes of storage. Does any of this matter to me? Not really. It does exactly what I need it to do, just read a couple of books, so I don't need a top-of-the-line processor or an absolutely incredible screen. It serves me absolutely fine. Now, you may have noticed that this is not a Kindle, it is a Kobo. And it isn't a Kindle for a couple of very good reasons. For starters, I avoid ads like the plague, so I wasn't particularly enthralled about having ads on my screen every single time I lock or unlock the device. And secondly, I wanted to actually own the books that I downloaded. Now, call me old-fashioned, but I don't want to wake up to magically find that all my books have either been edited or deleted since I last read them. I can't believe the irony that Amazon deleted 1984 from people's devices. It's crazy. On a related note, I want some semblance of control over what I do with said books. With a physical book, I can do whatever I want with it. I can lend it to someone, I can donate it, or I can even destroy it if I wish. The point is, I have complete control over something which I paid money for, which should always be the case with things you purchase. The thing is, these big companies like Amazon, Google, they won us over with convenience, but we traded convenience for something very important: ownership. You don't own the books you purchase from Amazon, even if you paid a one-time purchase for it. If Amazon decides to remove them for whatever reason, you do not get to keep the book that you paid for. If Amazon decided that a book was dangerous or too controversial, or they just didn't like the author, they have perfect right to just remove their books from everybody's devices. But with my Kobo, that cannot happen. It's as simple as plugging this into my computer and dragging and dropping each book into the folder, and boom, it's there, on here. They do have their own store, which is fair enough. Again, it is convenient, but I am not forced to use it, which is the point. I know there are ways to get around this restriction on Kindles, but the point is that this is a default restriction for Kindles. Stop letting companies decide what you can and cannot do with something that you have paid for. And with all of my books on this, I am not just limited to this. I can put them on any other device I choose. I can put them and read them on my computer, even though that would be a terrible place to read them. I also have this old Lenovo tablet, which is essentially e-waste at this point. It's really slow, but it is pretty much perfect for reading books. So, brilliant, I can do that. Again, it's drag and drop. I can just put the files from my computer onto my tablet, download an e-reading app, and boom, it's there. So my advice is really simple. Be mindful of what you are buying and make sure that you are actually buying something and not just renting it if you intend on keeping it. This is 1.5 terabytes of storage, which in this day and age is a lot, but it's not a huge amount. It's not particularly fast, but it can hold all my books, all my music collection, and my most precious photos on it. Most people don't need a complicated network-attached storage or a huge amount of space on a cloud service like Google Drive or Dropbox. They just need a big old hard drive and a little bit of patience. Now, there is a time and a place in the world for subscription services and cloud storage, don't get me wrong, but a lot of the time, this is all you need. Sometimes we forget that actually the most convenient way to have our stuff is just to own it ourselves. Now, there's far more to this conversation than just books, of course. Music and video streaming is its own topic, piracy is another, right to repair, of course, open source software. All of this we could deal with another time. So for the moment, thank you for listening, and I'll see you soon, and start to own what you buy.